Before we begin, please note that you must have your voting card with you if you want to vote in today's ballot. If you do not have this with you, you may want to go and get it now. Colleagues, the agenda for this meeting has been distributed. Could I please invite you to adopt the agenda? Are there any objections? The agenda is adopted. Thank you. May I remind colleagues that if you wish to speak in the plenary debates, you will need to register with the table office by 2 p.m. today. May I also remind colleagues that early voting for assembly officer positions is available for members who have an unavoidable obligation to leave the annual session before Wednesday. This will take place in the table office from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. I remind you that members must request early voting in writing to the table office before 5:30 p.m. today. I repeat, this relates to the election of Assembly's officers, not our committee officers, which we will agree in this meeting. In this fourth meeting, we will consider Draft Resolution 8, Preventing Youth Radicalization to Violent Extremism and Terrorism through Education and Media and Information Literacy, proposed by Mr. Kamil Aydin from Turkey. Draft Resolution 9, Maritime Security, an integral part of the OSCE's comprehensive security, proposed by Mr. Vilkaunisto from Finland. Draft Resolution 15, Supporting Moldova's Independence and Democracy, proposed by Mr. Pavel Zalewski from Poland. We will then move on the committee officer elections. We will now move to consider the draft resolution on preventing youth radicalization to violent extremism and terrorism through education, media, and information literacy. I would now like to give the floor to the sponsor of this draft resolution proposed by Mr. Kamil Aydin from Turkey. Mr. Aydin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Dear Chair, distinguished colleagues, it's my honor to present to you the supplementary item entitled Preventing Youth Radicalization to Violent Extremism and Terrorism Through Education and Media and Information Literacy. Today, more than ever, we face a worrying and urgent trend, the increasing exposure of young people, particularly teenagers, to extremist content online. Across the OSCE region, radicalization is no longer limited to vulnerable adults. It is rapidly reaching our children and teenagers through social media, gaming platforms, fringe forums, and encrypted applications. These spaces, once innocent channels for expression and connection, have become gateways to manipulation, hatred, and violence. The radicalization process is faster than ever before. We once took months, now takes weeks, sometimes even days. In many documented cases, children have been recruited and mobilized before anyone in their surroundings noticed a change. We must understand that young people are not just collateral targets of violent extremists. They are actively being targeted for ideological survival, for operational use, and for long-term manipulation. As chair of the CCT, I've realized how violent actors exploit feelings of alienation, frustration, and injustice to offer a dangerous, distorted sense of belonging and purpose to our youth. And of course, this supplementary item is the result of the collective work and insight gathered within the CCT over the past year. The topic emerged as a pressing concern through our committee's engagements with OSCE conferences, especially in the Interparliamentary Conference on the Fight Against Organized Crime in the OSCE region, held in Rome, and the field activities, most notably during our recent visit to the United States, where we had comprehensive exchanges with counterterrorism experts and policymakers. Our supplementary item calls for action. It urges participating states to go beyond more censorship or surveillance. Instead, it promotes a holistic, forward-looking, prevention-based approach, one that is rooted in education, digital literacy, critical thinking, and civil engagement. We must equip parents, teachers, and community leaders with the tools to recognize early warning signs and provide young people with healthy, constructive alternatives. We also stress the importance of the public-private partnership, especially with the technology companies and social media platforms. These actors must be part of the solution, helping us design algorithmic safeguards and remove harmful content while respecting fundamental rights and freedoms. This resolution does not pretend to solve the issue overnight, but it sends a strong and united message that youth radicalization is not only a security challenge, it's a societal crisis. And early prevention is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Colleagues, with this supplementary item, we seek your support not only for its adoption, but also for a shared commitment to stand against violent extremism, not only through countermeasures, but by protecting the hearts and minds of our youth. Let us invest in the next generation, not just to prevent radicalization, but to build resilient, educated, and empowered citizens who will shape a more peaceful future for our region. Thank you for your attention. I sincerely hope this supplementary item will be received by your support and be adopted. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aydin. The floor is now open for debate. The time limit for speeches is 1 minute. If there are lots of members wishing to speak, I may reduce the time limit. I give the floor to Miss Elena Samin from Belgium.
Thank you, Mr. President. Radicalization and violent extremism among young people remain a serious challenge throughout the OSCE region. This resolution rightly highlights the importance of prevention through education and media literacy. But I would like to add a remark. It is not only a matter of information or education. Radicalization often has its roots in issues like identity, social marginalization, and lack of integration. We must have the courage to acknowledge that certain radical ideologies gain particular traction in specific communities, and we should not turn a blind eye to this. Prevention remains essential. Parents, teachers, and local authorities are often the first to notice warning signs. They need sufficient resources and the mandate to act, but this is precisely where the problem lies in many countries. There are calls for prevention, but too often there is reluctance to address the real causes of radicalization. Colleagues, radicalization is not only a security issue, it also undermines our social fabric, our way of living together, and our core values. Only by tackling its roots can we truly protect our young people and our societies.
Thank you. I will now give the floor to Ms. Madeleine van Torenburg from Netherlands.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During this meeting, we've spoken about several violations against innocent people. We spoke about Gaza, we spoke about hostages, we spoke about Ukraine. But in the meantime, there's a war going on against our innocent children. They are poisoned, they got false information, they are lured into radicalization, into rabbit holes, one-way streets, due to very dangerous algorithms on our social media. We have to join hands as parents, teachers, social media platforms, and politicians to prevent our youth to radicalize and get into the claws of the violent extremists. That's why I endorse this resolution wholeheartedly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our last speaker on this supplementary item, Ms. Evroshima Pejovic from Montenegro. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, dear colleagues. I remain still deeply personally impacted by the recent CCT committee visit to the United States and conference in Rome. During these events, we engaged with some of the leading experts on terrorism, radicalization, and extremism. What struck us the most was the speed at which social media and artificial intelligence are being misused for radicalization, recruitment, and operational coordination. A growing number of evidence shows that extremist recruitment effort increasingly targeted youth online using video games, encrypted messaging platforms. Also, the channels often avoid being detected and make radical ideologies seem cool. Perhaps most disturbing was the data showing that children as young as 12, 13, or 14 years being targeted by extremist content online. There was even a case of just 8 years old, and this horrifying reality and is not a distant one, and our legislative framework, institutional capacities, and policy approach do not reflect the urgency of complexity of those emerging threats. And as a parliamentarians, we have a duty to act quickly and responsibly, and this supplementary item is one step in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to consider the amendments submitted to the draft resolution. 2 valid amendments have been tabled and copies of the amendments have been made available. I will call the proposer of the amendment first, and then we'll call any opponent of the amendment and the sponsor of the draft resolution. Following that, I shall put the amendment to the vote. I ask speakers to observe a time limit of 1 minute. We are also required to vote on every paragraph to which there are no amendments. Yesterday, we agreed that to save time and to avoid many votes on items that have broad support, if no amendment has been tabled to a paragraph and if nobody requests a vote on a paragraph, we can consider it adopted. As before, any time a specific vote is requested, we will do so. So, from paragraph 1 to 7, there are no amendments. We will now, does anyone want to vote on any of these paragraphs? Okay, paragraphs 1 to 7 are agreed. We have amendment 1, which was made by Mr. Hagiani from Cyprus, to insert a new paragraph after paragraph 24.
A small correction after paragraph
Just a moment. Just a moment. However, the editorial team have highlighted that this amendment belongs earlier in the resolution. With the leave of the committee, we will consider this amendment now to be inserted after paragraph 7.
Genau.
The rapporteur and the proposer of this amendment are content with this approach.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment aims to recognize the crucial role that interfaith and intercultural dialogue plays in preventing radicalization, violent extremist ideologies, and terrorism. We live in an era where intolerance, social division, and misinformation deepen isolation, particularly among young people. Promoting dialogue between religions and culture is not only a tool for reconciliation, but also a cornerstone for social cohesion and peaceful coexistence. religious institutions with their moral authority and strong presence in local communities, bearing particular responsibility in disseminating messages of peace, tolerance, and mutual respect. I therefore call on all members of the First Committee to support this amendment, thereby reinforcing the multi-layered and inclusive framework for preventing radicalization that this resolution seeks to build. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against this amendment? No. What is Mr. Aydin's opinion of this amendment?
Yes, thank you, Chair. As you have already mentioned, we are in favor of this amendment, but I think it's better to move the amendment to paragraph 7, which is more convenient. If my dear friend Hajiani doesn't mind, we can accept in that way, just by moving to the end of the 7th. Thank you.
We already established this. The amendment, it's already moved to paragraph 7.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I shall now put amendment 1 to vote. Who is in favor? Please raise your cards. Somebody against? Abstentions? Thank you. Amendment 1 is adopted. Paragraph 8 to 31, we have no amendments. We take paragraph 8 to 31 together. Does anyone want to vote on any of these paragraphs? No. Paragraphs 8 to 31 are agreed. For the amendment 2, I call Mr. Skinari from Finland to propose this, to insert a new paragraph after paragraph 31. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm the head of Finnish delegation, and on behalf of Mr. Skinnari, who's stuck in a traffic jam, I will propose this amendment. Finland was one of the first countries to adopt a national action plan on UNSCR 2050 on youth, peace and security. We would hope for the OSCE to take a more active role in advancing the 2020-50 agenda. That's why we wanted to strengthen the text on this by introducing this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 2? Yes, please, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je profite de cette possibilité d'intervenir pour vous dire pourquoi je ne voterai pas cette résolution. Je la trouve largement insuffisante, par rapport à ce problème qui est extrêmement difficile, à savoir la radicalisation de la jeunesse, en ce compris via les réseaux sociaux. On ne traite pas dans cette résolution de la problématique relative à l'apologie du terrorisme sur les réseaux sociaux. On ne traite pas des incitations directes et indirectes à commettre des attentats terroristes. On ne responsabilise pas non plus les opérateurs web en matière de gestion et d'interdiction à voir se diffuser sur leur réseau de l'apologie du terrorisme, de la radicalisation ou de l'incitation à commettre des attentats terroristes. Donc c'est tout à fait insuffisant, léger. C'est la raison pour laquelle je ne voterai pas ce texte.
Thank you. What is Mr. Aydin's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Chair. We are in favor of the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 2 to vote. Who is in favor, please raise your cards. Who is against? Please raise your cards. We have 2 votes Against? Any abstentions? With 2 votes against and 2 abstentions, this amendment is adopted. Paragraph 32, there is no amendment. We'll consider this paragraph now. Does anyone want to vote on this paragraph? Okay, paragraph 32 is agreed. That concludes the consideration of amendments. Thank you. I propose that we now formally move to a vote on the draft resolution as amended. Who is in favor, please raise your cards. Who is against, please raise your cards. We have 3 votes against. Any abstention? We have no abstentions. The resolution is adopted. Thank you. We will now move to consider the draft resolution on maritime security, an integral part of the OSCE's comprehensive security. I would now like to give the floor to the sponsor of this draft resolution proposed by Mr. Ville Kaunisto from Finland. Mr. Kaunisto, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Distinguished colleagues, I want to thank my colleagues for the strong support this supplementary item has received already. The sea areas surrounding Europe and connecting us to our friends in North America are vital. They remain safe, secure, and open for all. They must remain safe, secure, and open for all, from cargo ships to fishermen and from data cables to oil pipelines. We often take these sea routes and maritime infrastructure for granted until they are disrupted. But recent incidents have reminded us how critical they are to our way of life, our economy, and our security. The rising sabotage and suspicious accidents target underwater infrastructure must stop. These acts pose a serious threat not only to individual nations, but to global stability. Safety on the surface is equally important. Harassment of military vessels and planes must not be tolerated. All maritime traffic must be able to operate freely and securely. In international shipping and trade, we must stand by the rules. International principles must be respected. The use of shadow fleets and other attempts to bypass sanctions undermine both our unity and our security. With this supplementary item, we want to highlight the shared challenges we face when peace and order above and below the sea are threatened. We also want to encourage the sharing of experiences, best practices, and continued dialogue about maritime safety. I hope you will support this supplementary item and join us in defending the safety and openness of our seas. I also want to, at this point, mention that there are 3 amendment propositions that have specifically are about the situation between Greece and Turkey, and I wish that this supplementary item would not take part in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kaunisto. The floor is now open for debate. The time limit for speeches is 1 minute. If there are a lot of members wishing to speak, I may reduce the time. I give the floor to Honorable David M. Wells from Canada, followed by Ms. Ingrida Siren from Latvia.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to speak in support of this supplementary item. As security in the OSCE region is under threat, maritime activities, whether civilian, commercial, or military, are not spared. This is particularly true in my country, Canada. We have the longest coastline in the world with over 243,000 kilometers of coast stretching across the Pacific, the Arctic, and the Atlantic Oceans. And our exclusive economic zone extends almost 600 million square kilometers into these three oceans. As is set out in the supplementary item, potential attacks on critical maritime infrastructure, such as undersea cables, are a growing concern. A network of undersea cables already connects Canada and Europe in the North Atlantic, and I expect future projects to expand these links and establish connections. Canada's defence policy includes pledges to increase the Canadian Armed Forces' maritime underwater surveillance capability to boost our domestic defence, as well as to strengthen our continental and allied defence through the North American Aerospace Defence Command, or NORAD, and through NATO. Breaches of safety standards of international law, whether in the North Atlantic or the Baltic Sea, puts us all at risk. In conclusion, I thank Mr. Ville Conisto for sponsoring this item, and I welcome particular attention that our Assembly is paying to the subject of maritime security, and I hope that we will continue to advance this issue. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Thanks. I give the floor to Ms. Ingrida Sirsen from Latvia, followed by Mr. Pavel Bartosek from Iceland.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Today I stand before you to address a rapidly escalating risk to the integrity of our shared maritime space, the unchecked expansion of shadow fleets, vessels that operate under obscure ownership, switch flags to avoid detection, and sail with transponders turned off to bypass international sanctions. These fleets are not just technical loopholes, they are calculated tools to undermine global rules, exploit legal gray zones, and weaken the credibility of our enforced regimes. These vessels carry sanctioned cargo, compromise environmental safety, and put lawful maritime traffic at risk. The problem is not only what they transport, but how they operate in the shadows. This creates a major enforcement gap. Punishing those responsible becomes nearly impossible when identities are hidden behind layers of shell companies and regulatory blind spots. Our current structures are not equipped to meet these challenges alone. That is why the OSCE must strengthen its role. We need to bring clarity. I strongly support the proposal to appoint a special representative on maritime security. This role would lead efforts to coordinate intelligence sharing, strengthen maritime law enforcement cooperation, and engage with international partners such as the International Maritime Organization to restore the rules-based order at sea. It would also ensure that OSCE participating states are better prepared to detect and respond to illegal maritime activities, including sabotage, smuggling, and shadow fleet operation. Colleagues, the sea connects us, but threats at sea can divide and destabilize us. The OSCE must be proactive, not reactive, in the face of the evolving danger. We need accountability, transparency, and a clear commitment to protecting maritime security as a core part of our comprehensive approach to peace and stability. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I give the floor to Mr. Pavel Bartosek from Iceland, followed by Ms. Eni Koutrakis from Canada.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to thank Mr. Ville Kaunisto for this important initiative. As an island nation, we in Iceland understand the critical role maritime security plays in our economy, supply routes, connectivity, and resilience. The resolution rightly emphasizes the importance of underwater cables. Iceland has been connected to Europe by such cables since 1906, so nearly 120 years of vital communication. Today, we rely on 4 main cables, and we are very well aware of the challenges to our security should they become compromised. That's why we've conducted preparedness exercises to simulate the loss of some or all connections, because resilience must also be planned for. Mr. Chair, I support this supplementary item and urge its adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now give the floor to Ms. Anni Koutrakis from Canada, followed by Mr. Yaroslav Yushishin from Ukraine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to thank Mr. Conisto for sponsoring this supplementary item on the theme of maritime security. Adopting this item as part of our annual session declaration would go a long way to raising awareness about current threats to maritime activities in the OSCE region. With the longest coastline in the world, Canada is a maritime nation. Our marine territory spans 3 oceans, the Arctic, the Atlantic, and the Pacific. Unsurprisingly then, Canada's national security and economic prosperity rely in part on safe and secure maritime activity. I would like to focus my remarks to 2 areas of interest for Canada: Arctic security and international cooperation. Greater access to the Arctic because of climate change combined with rising geopolitical competition poses risks to the safety and security of maritime activities. With more ships and people in our waters, we must be able to detect and respond to illegal activities, disruptions to maritime infrastructure, coercive and dangerous behaviors, and incidents that pose a risk to the safety of people or the marine environment. We must also mitigate the potential negative impacts of this increased activity in the Arctic on local and Indigenous communities. In this context, strengthening partnerships to respond to security threats in Arctic and northern waters is among Canada's top priorities. This brings me to my second point. International cooperation is key to maintaining global maritime security. In March 2025, the G7 foreign ministers issued a declaration on maritime security and prosperity in which they agreed to contribute towards a free, open, and secure maritime domain based on the rule of law. The supplementary item calls on OSCE participating states to increase cooperation with like-minded countries and regional international organizations on maritime security. In conclusion, threats to the security of our oceans and seas is a matter of collective security. We must use the forums at our disposal to increase awareness and cooperation to address those threats. Once again, I express my support for this supplementary item and hope its recommendations will encourage further discussions about maritime security within this Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now give the floor to Ms. Ellen Samin from Belgium, followed by Mr. Pierre-Paul Haas from Canada.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, maritime security is not an abstract concept. For a region like Flanders with its major ports in Antwerp and Zeebrugge, it's the very backbone of our economy, trade and energy supply. We fully agree with the resolution's call to protect critical maritime infrastructure, cables, pipelines, offshore wind farms and shipping lanes. Recent sabotage incidents in European waters show how vulnerable we all are. It's not just a security issue, it's about economic survival and protecting our way of life. However, we also believe that maritime security cannot be blind to illegal migration and human trafficking. The Mediterranean remains a key route for smuggling networks, often operated by criminal gangs who endanger human lives and undermine national security. These activities must be stopped, not facilitated. Finally, while we support international cooperation, we insist that national sovereignty and national security always comes first. Colleagues, we must remain vigilant. Maritime security is not merely an international responsibility, but it's also a national priority. Only in that way we can keep our seas free, safe, and truly secure.
Thank you. I will now give the floor to Mr. Pierre-Paul Haas from Canada.
Chers collègues, permettez-moi de contribuer à cette discussion sur la sécurité maritime en offrant une perspective sécuritaire et militaire canadienne sur cet enjeu. Au cours des dernières années, le Canada a été contraint à porter une attention croissante à la sécurité et à la défense de notre frontière la plus au nord. Nous reconnaissons maintenant l'urgence que représente la menace russe. Séparés par l'océan Arctique, ils ont dit souvent que la Russie est la cour arrière du Canada. Face à une menace de plus en plus tangible, en tant que pays allié au sein de l'OTAN et membre du NORAD, nous nous sommes engagés à améliorer la détection des menaces aériennes et maritimes dans notre nord. Les activités de la Chine dans nos eaux sont également à l'avant-plan de nos préoccupations. Nous savons maintenant que depuis 2022, nos forces armées traquent et interceptent des tentatives de surveillance des eaux arctiques par la Chine. Leurs activités sont de plus en plus perturbatrices. En effet, en 2023, les forces militaires canadiennes ont détecté des bouées de surveillance chinoises dans l'Arctique. La garde côtière chinoise a déclaré être entrée dans les eaux de l'océan Arctique pour la première fois dans le cadre d'une patrouille conjointe avec la Russie en 2024. Ces types d'incidents et d'actions suscitent des inquiétudes tant en termes de sécurité nationale et régionale que de sécurité de la navigation commerciale. Assurer une navigation sécuritaire de nos navires commerciaux doit être une priorité. C'est d'autant plus important alors que le Canada et l'Europe cherchent à consolider leur collaboration pour renforcer la sécurité énergétique. Je pense notamment à la nécessité d'avoir des infrastructures maritimes sûres pour accroître notre commerce. Pour conclure, chers collègues, je souhaite apporter mon soutien à ce point additionnel. Merci.
Thank you. We will now move to consider the amendments submitted to the draft resolution. 3 valid amendments have been tabled and copies of the amendments have been made available. I will call the proposer of the amendment first, and then we'll call any opponent on the amendment and the sponsor of the draft resolution. Following that, I shall put the amendment to vote. I ask speakers to serve a time limit of 1 minute. We are also required to vote on every paragraph to which there are no amendments. Yesterday, we agreed that to save time and to avoid many votes on items that have broad support, if no amendment has been tabled to a paragraph, and if nobody requests a vote on a paragraph, we can consider it adopted. As before, any time a specific vote is requested, we will do so. Paragraphs 1 to 5, we have no amendments. I will take it together. Does anyone want to vote on any of these paragraphs? No, so paragraphs 1 to 5 are agreed. Thank you. Now we pass to amendment 1. I call Mr. Altinok from Turkey to propose this amendment to insert a new paragraph after paragraph 5. Please, you have the floor.
Sayın Başkan, kıymetli meslektaşlarım, öncelikle raportör arkadaşım Sayın Will Conisto'ya böyle hassas bir konuyu gayet dengeli ve ilkesel bir yaklaşımla ele aldığı için teşekkür ediyorum. AGİTBA gibi saygın ve çok taraflı bir platformun ikili anlaşmazlıkların hesaplaşma alanına dönüşmesini hiçbir zaman doğru bulmadım. 57 katılımcı devletin ortak iradesini yansıtan bu değerli yapının yalnızca iki ülke arasındaki ihtilaflara indirgenmesi hem kurumsal işleyişe hem de diğer 55 ülkenin katkısına gölge düşürmektedir. Bu rapor özelinde ise Sayın Raportörün emeğine saygısızlık olacaktır. Bu yaklaşımın teşkilatın çok taraflı yapısına ve ruhuna da uygun olmadığını düşünüyorum. Bu nedenle hiç arzu etmesem de Yunan meslektaşımızın önerge girişimlerini bildiğimiz için biz de sürece denge getirmek amacıyla bir karşı önerge hazırladık. Ancak bu vesileyle Yunan meslektaşlarıma açık bir çağrıda bulunmak istiyorum. Gelin her iki taraf olarak önergelerimizi geri çekelim. İkili meselelerimizi bu çok taraflı platformu rahatsız etmeyecek şekilde ele alalım ve AGİTBA gündemini ortak değerlerimize ve işbirliğimize ayıralım. Eğer Yunanlı dostlarımız önergelerini geri çekerlerse ben de kendi önergemizi çekmeye hazır olduğumu ifade etmek isterim. Türkiye her halükarda uluslararası hukuka ve hakkaniyet ilkesine bağlı kalmaya ve bu haklarını savunmaya devam edecektir. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you. What is Mr. Conisto? Does anyone wish to speak against this amendment? Mr. We have one person, please, from Greece.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. All these amendments have to do with the Great Sea Interconnector, which is a submarine high-voltage power cable, most commonly referred as GSI, which has nothing to do with Greece and Turkey. It will connect Greece, Cyprus, and Israel. It is an European Union project of common interest, so it is not a bilateral issue. The European Union supports it heavily. It pays 657 million euros for this project, and additional funding interests exists from a United States government's development financial institution, the DFC. So it is not a bilateral issue. What is the problem? The problem is that since last July, 3 times Turkey tries to obstruct the GSI with naval deployments in the areas, in the vessels, the survey vessels, which are trying to find the way for the cable laying. And something else, this has nothing to do with sovereign rights. It has to do with the freedoms of the high seas, because the freedom to lay submarine cables on the continental shelf is one of the basic freedoms of the high seas. And it will connect, it will end energy isolation of Cyprus and Israel. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Conisto, your opinion, please.
Mr. Chair, with this supplementary item, I want to address maritime security as an important issue for the comprehensive security structure of the OSCE. I would not want to go into specific situations, whether they are bilateral or not. That's why I cannot accept the amendments made by Turkey and Greece, and I hope you vote against them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I shall now put Amendment 1 to vote. Who is in favor, please raise your card. Okay. Thank you. Who is against, please raise your cards. Okay, thank you. Any abstention? We don't have abstention, so Amendment 1 is defeated. For the Amendment 2, I call Mr. Altinok from Turkey to propose this, to insert a new paragraph after paragraph 5. You have the floor.
Sayın Başkan, değerli parlamenterler, bu değişiklik önergesiyle deniz yetki alanları sınırlandırılmamış Ege Denizi'nde Yunanistan tarafından sürdürülen tek taraflı ve yetkisiz faaliyetleri kınıyoruz. Türkiye, uluslararası hukuka uygun bir biçimde kıta sahanlığını 2004 ve 2020 yıllarında Birleşmiş Milletler'in nezdinde tescil ettirmiştir. Bu alanlarda yapılacak her türlü bilimsel araştırma ve kablo döşeme öncesi hazırlık faaliyeti için kıyıdaş devlet olan Türkiye'nin rızası şarttır. Türkiye, işbirliğinin açık tutumunu İtalya ile yürütülen Blue Cable projesinde göstermiştir. Ancak Great Sea Interconnector gibi rızamız dışında geliştirilen projeler hukuken geçersizdir ve bölgesel istikrara zarar verir. Değişiklik önergesine desteklerinizi bekliyor. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you, Mr. Altinok. Does anyone wish to speak against this amendment? Please, you have the floor.
According to Article 79 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which is the standard treaty for the law of the sea, coastal states may not impede the laying or maintenance of cables on their continental shelf. So, it has nothing to do with any rights on the continental shelf. It has to do with the general freedom enjoyed by all states in all over the world on laying submarine cables on the continental shelf.
Thank you. Mr. Conisto, your opinion, please.
Mr. Chair, the text in the supplementary item is very well balanced, and I hope you vote against the amendment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Who is in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. Who is against, please raise your cards. Thank you. Any abstention? Thank you. The amendment is defeated. We have now Amendment 3. I call Mr. Sirigos from Greece to propose this amendment to insert a new paragraph after paragraph 5. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. As I said earlier, this has to do with the Great Sea Interconnector, GSI, a submarine cable which will end the isolation of Cyprus and Israel as it concerns energy. It is supported by the European Union. It is part of a project of common interest by the European Union. It is funded by the European Union with 657 million euros. And we had 3 incidents in July last year, August last year, and February this year, when Turkish warships tried to stop survey vessels which were working on the cable laying. So I'm asking you to vote for this because it has to do with freedom of high seas, with maritime security, and the end of East Cyprus and Israel's energy isolation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 3? Mr. Altinok from Turkey, please, you have the floor.
Sayın Başkan, denizaltı kablolarının döşenmesinden önce yapılacak her türlü hazırlık araştırması ki bunu deniz tabanının bilimsel araştırması olarak nitelendiriyoruz, kıyıdaş devletin önceden onayına tabidir. Bu nedenle Türkiye'nin kıta sahanlığındaki deniz tabanında yapılacak her türlü bilimsel araştırma, bu faaliyetleri düzenleme ve onaylama hakkına sahip kıyıdaş devlet olarak Türkiye'nin önceden onayı tabidir. Tüm tarafların yalnızca denizaltı kablolarının değil, aynı zamanda boru hatlarının döşenmesiyle ilgili olarak da fiili kablo döşeme faaliyetinden önceki ön araştırma faaliyetleri dahil olmak üzere ilgili uluslararası hukuka uyması gerektiğinde ısrar ediyoruz. Agitba'nın platformunu kendi ulusal gündemleri için kullanmaktan kaçınmaları çağrısında bulunuyoruz. Ve uluslararası hukuka aykırı olan irrasyonel ve maksimalist pozisyonları ileri sürme girişimlerini de kınıyoruz. Dolayısıyla sizlerden Türkiye'nin kıta sahanlığı içindeki herhangi bir tek taraflı faaliyete destek vermekten kaçınmanızı bekliyor ve önergeye karşı çıkmanızı özellikle rica ediyoruz. Her halükarda Türkiye kendi milli menfaatlerini koruma noktasında her türlü tedbiri almaya muktedirdir. Buna da müsaade etmeyeceğimizi özellikle belirtmek istiyorum.
Thank you. What is Mr. Conisto opinion about this amendment?
Mr. Chair, although I understand that there are many specific situations, I don't think this supplementary item is the place for it, so I am against. Thank you.
Okay, who is in favor of this amendment? Thank you. Who is against of this amendment? Thank you. Any abstention? Thank you. The amendment is defeated. We'll take now paragraph 6 to 15 together. There are no amendments. Does anyone want to vote on any of these paragraphs? No, so paragraphs 6 to 15 are agreed. That concludes the consideration of amendments. Thank you. I propose that we now formally move to a vote on the draft resolution as amended. Who is in favor of this draft resolution as amended? Please raise your cards. Somebody against? Any abstention? We have no abstention. The draft resolution is adopted. Thank you. We'll now move to consider the draft resolution on supporting Moldova's independence and democracy. I would now like to give the floor to the sponsor of this draft resolution proposed by Mr. Paweł Zalewski from Poland. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'd like to encourage all of us to vote in favor for this very important resolution regarding small but very brave and very important country in Europe, the Republic of Moldova, which is one of the countries most affected by Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. We should recognize Moldova's solidarity with Ukraine and its people. We shall condemn the unprecedented malign interference by Russia into Moldova's presidential elections and constitutional referendum in 2024, and further destabilization actions in the run-up to the parliamentary elections in September 2025. We should express decisively support to Moldova's resilience. We should express support to fighting Russia's hybrid campaigns, disinformation, and electoral interference. In view of the ongoing Russian aggression, we should reaffirm unwavering support for commitment to facilitating a comprehensive, peaceful, and sustainable settlement of the Transnistrian conflict based on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Moldova within its internationally recognized borders. We should urge the Russian Federation to resume the withdrawal of its military troops and ammunition stockpiles from the territory of Moldova. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the floor is open for debate. The time limit for speeches is 1 minute. I give the floor to Mr. Paweł Bartosek from Iceland.
Well, thank you, Chair. I would like to express my support for the supplementary item on Moldova and thank Mr. Zalewski for bringing it forward. Just a few months ago, I had the privilege of visiting Moldova alongside fellow chairmen of Foreign Affairs Committees of the Nordic and Baltic parliaments. We had good discussion with members of parliament, both from the government as well as the opposition. We visited the Gagauzien Autonomous Region. We met with President Bayasandu. One important observation: women in Moldovan politics are visible, vocal, and numerous, which is important. I applaud the democratic path taken by Moldova. The decision to hold a nationwide referendum to affirm their European path is courageous and inspiring. The Icelandic government has committed to holding a referendum on resuming EU accession talks before the end of 2027. Like Moldova, we believe that a strong democratic mandate is essential when taking such steps. Moldova's journey is not without challenges. The resolution rightly condemns malign interference in the electoral process and supports Moldova's efforts to build resilience in those areas. These are not just Moldovan concerns, they should concern us all. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. I will now give the floor to Honorable Percy Dawn from Canada.
Colleagues, I'm pleased to speak in support of this supplementary item. Moldova has made significant democratic and governance progress in recent years. Among the other areas, Moldova has introduced reforms to reinforce its democratic institutions, address corruption, ensure media independence, and strengthen the rule of law. These efforts are all the more impressive given the security challenges and foreign interference that Moldova continues to experience. As the SI underscores, Russia is engaging in a campaign of interference in Moldova's internal affairs. These actions are a blatant violation of international law and Moscow's OSCE obligations. The OSCE PA must be condemn these illegal acts. This aside gives us an opportunity to demonstrate our support for Moldova's democracy, security, and political reforms. I urge you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have no speakers. We will now move to consider the amendments submitted to the draft resolution. One valid amendment has been tabled and copies of the amendment have been made available. I will call the proposer of the amendment first, and then we'll call any opponent of the amendment and the sponsor of the draft resolution. Following that, I shall put the amendment to the vote. I ask speakers to observe a time limit of 1 minute. We are also required to vote on every paragraph to which there are no amendments. Yesterday, we agreed that to save time and to avoid many votes on items that have broad support, if no amendment has been tabled to a paragraph and if nobody requests a vote on a paragraph, we can consider it adopted. As before, any time a specific vote is requested, we will do so. Paragraph 1, we have no amendment. We'll consider paragraph 1. Does anyone want to vote on this paragraph? No. Paragraph 1 is agreed. I call for the amendment 1 Mr. Nikita Porturaev from Ukraine to propose amendment 1 to paragraph 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear colleagues, on behalf of Congressman VZ from the United States and his colleagues, Senator Wicker and Congressman Wilson and Congressman Cohen, and on behalf of Ukrainian delegation, we would like to thank Mr. Zalewski for this supplementary item, which gives Moldova due recognition for its stalwart alignment with the Euro-Atlantic community in the face of significant adversity. Moldova inhabits a precarious and pivotal place in Eastern Europe, on the front lines of Russia's hybrid war in the region and next door to Russia's full-blown war on Ukraine. Moldovans know all too well that Ukraine is not only defending itself, but all of Europe. But Moldova has chosen not to look on as a wary spectator at the upheaval in this region. Instead, it has gone above and beyond for Ukraine, providing humanitarian aid and accepting large numbers of Ukrainian refugees in relation to its population. We have proposed this amendment to commend Moldova for leading by example with its grit, determination, and resolute support for its Ukrainian neighbors. American colleagues urge us to support this amendment, and Ukrainian delegation also will vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 1? No. What is Mr. Zalewski's opinion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I very value and appreciate this amendment.
Thank you. Who is in favor of this amendment? Who is against this amendment? Any abstention? No, thank you. Amendment 1 is adopted. We pass now to paragraph 2 as amended. We will, who is in favor of this paragraph, please raise your card. Thank you. Who is against? Please raise your card. Any abstention? No. Paragraph 2 is agreed to. We'll take now paragraphs 3 to 9. No amendments in this paragraph. Does anyone want to vote of any of these paragraphs? No. Paragraphs 3 to 9 are agreed. That concludes the consideration of amendments. Thank you. I propose that we'll now formally move to a vote on the draft resolution as amended. Who is in favor of adopting the resolution, please raise your card. Thank you. Who is against, please raise your card. Abstentions? We have no abstentions. 2 abstentions. Okay. Sorry, we have 2 abstentions. The draft resolution is adopted. Thank you. We now come to the election of the committee officers for the next annual session of the Assembly. As I am standing for re-election, I will hand over the chair to the rapporteur, Mr. Tobias Winkler. Tobias, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Kostel. Thank you, dear colleagues. Now we follow a strict and transparent procedure for the election of the committee officers for a 1-year term. First of all, I want to announce that we have appointed 2 tellers for this election. It's Mary Lopez from Andorra and it's Ville Canisto from Finland. So is there agreement on this appointment? Anyone against? I don't see that, so we can proceed. The International Secretariat informs me that the following nominations have been received in the table office. Election of the chair. For the chair, we have the following candidate. Mr. Mark Weesey, United States of America. As the position of the chair is not contested, following the rules of procedure, I have the honor to declare that Mark Weesey is elected by acclamation. So it's up to you to acclamate. Thank you very much. Second part, second officer, election of the vice chair. For the vice chair, we have the following candidates. Mr. Kostel Nicolae Dunava from Romania and Ms. Jerosima Pejovic from Montenegro. We agreed on offering both candidates the possibility to present themselves to the voters. The presentation is limited to 2 minutes each. The order of speakers has been randomly determined. This process was overseen by the tellers. We decided by lot. So, Jerosima Pejovic, Montenegro, shall speak first, followed by Kostel Nicolae Dunava. Now I give the floor to Jerosima Pejovic. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Hopefully, I'm not sure. Okay, we can. So, this is my first time running, and I'm not quite sure how this presentation is supposed to look like. I tried to prepare. I tried to ask someone from the region, but apparently there is no one from Western Balkan sitting in the Bureau of OSCE. Also, I tried to ask some of the women who were sitting at that table, but turns out that I could only find Pia Kauma there, and since she's the president, I didn't dare to steal her time asking for speech tips. I skipped the network of youth parliamentarians since they are not established officially in the infrastructure, so let's say their advice is still under construction. And to be completely open to you. I was hoping that my colleague, Mr. Dunava, would speak first, so I can borrow some tips last moment. After all, he is running for his 6th term. So here I am, standing in front of you, being part of that statistics that you can change. And now I would like to tell you something about things that I believe I can help be changed. I'm a psychologist and psychotherapist, and before I became MP, I was Deputy Minister for Labor and Employment. As you can assume, I was negotiating with employers and trade unions, but also with the EU, since in my portfolio was Chapter 19. I believe that I developed skills that will be crucial in the future period, and firstly that, in the importance of dialogue and facilitating dialogue, but also I believe that I learned when to stay firm and stick to the values, and that skills will be very important in the future period where there will be no empty seats in this assembly.
Rosima, your time is out. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to say that also I learned maybe the crucial skills for this position, but you interrupt me, and now
it was agreed on 2 minutes, so thank you very much so far. I think.
I will just finish. I wanted just to say that I learned a skill to make long speeches short. So, but I'm not sure it count now. And before I conclude, I just really want to say huge thank you for all your support, and hopefully in the end of my mandate, I will learn to say thank you in each language of OSCE.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, to be fair on that, it was more than 3 minutes. I would say we also would be very generous to Costa Dunava. Now your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Tobias. Dear friends, when I first ran for my first mandate of parliamentarian in Romania, this was happening in 2008. Nobody knew me. So a big shot politician who must present me at the time, he didn't knew me, of course, neither him. He told to the assembly, who don't know Costel Dunava? So here is not the case. We know each other from many years. I am in OSCE from 2018. I served as vice chair of this committee together with Richard Hudson from United States from 2019 until last year at the summer session in Romania. Last year was elected chair Peter Thorenson from Iceland, but it's a pity that he isn't today here with us. You already know me. I spoke with a lot of you all these years. We participated together at a lot of observation missions in Kyrgyzstan, Russia Federation, Belarus, and the other country. In today's changing security world, our committee faces new and serious challenges. From managing artificial intelligence to fighting false information, from political tensions to new cyber threats, our work has never been more important. As we celebrate 50 years of the Helsinki Final Act this year, we remember that the principles from 1975 are not just history, but active commitments that must guide our work on today's problems. My 6 years of service on this committee, plus my role as chairman of the Chamber of Deputies Committee for Economic Policy Reform and Privatization, have given me deep knowledge and practical experience in security matters. I am especially interested in tackling two key challenges of our time: managing artificial intelligence development in a responsible way and fighting the spread of the false information that threatens our democratic systems. These aren't just technical issues, they are basic security challenges that need the complete approach the OSCE supports, covering political, economical, environmental, and human rights.
You're running out of time, so.
Thank you. I respectfully ask for your vote and look forward to continuing our vital work together in advancing security, democracy, and the rule of law among our participating states. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as the position of Vice Chair is contested, we will have an election. I will hand over to the Secretariat to explain the balloting process.
Thank you very much. So now we will proceed with the voting with the secret ballot for the position of the Vice Chair. We've prepared the ballot papers, and in order to vote, you will need to approach our colleagues over there on the white table on the left side. Collect your ballot papers. In order to collect your ballot papers, you will need to submit your red cards, the voting card, and then proceed to the other side where the ballot box will be, and submit your vote. For the time of the voting, the committee will be suspended and will resume for the result to be announced. The results of this selection will also be announced at the plenary session. So we suspend the meeting, I guess, and please proceed for the voting.
Excusez-moi, j'aimerais poser une question sur le processus électoral. C'est normal? Oui, donc écoutez, et pourquoi est-ce qu'on n'a pas une explication un peu plus détaillée sur le programme du président? Le programme du président, le président n'a même